The kingdom of God is within you. The Desert Fathers took this verse very seriously. For them, because of the utter simplicity of the life that they had, the one battle was within. And therefore, the hidden forces of the cosmos were encountered head on. They had, according to the teaching of St. John Cassian, the scope of obtaining the kingdom of heaven, ultimate conquest of eternity, but also in the immediate, for the kingdom of heaven is within, and the immediate battle for its conquest was that of purity of heart. And so the heart was the great battleground. And when one lives in a great simplicity of life, because there is nothing happening on the outside, the world of the interior absorbs. And they had, therefore, this continual battle with what was referred to as noemata, thoughts. And they knew that for prayer to be pure, purity of heart, the heart had to be free and uncontaminated. And so they were aware that the great ploy of the enemy was to make sure that that was never happening. Many stories are told about the way that the demons made sure it didn't happen. One story is told about the way that actually the demon made sure that the young monk wasn't in the kingdom of heaven within by getting him always to do something. As soon as he settled for mental prayer, the demon would put in his mind a thought, noema. This had to be done. And so he would work at some practical chore in the cell or around the cell, anything to make sure that he wasn't doing what he was there for. But another story is told of a monk who had to go with the wares of the brethren to the local town to sell them. And he saw a demon in a reposed mode. And he realized the demon had nothing ready to do, for all he had to do was suggest something, and they all followed immediately. They were no threat to him. But then he got back into the desert, and on his way back he saw a young monk in his cell and 40 ferocious demons around him, trying to put thoughts in his mind. Another story is told of a young monk in his cell, and someone saw that he was struggling with thoughts, and the demon was around, but the demon was having a whale of a time because he was partly consenting. Now, those particular thoughts would have been thoughts against one of the great weapons that they had, against purity of heart and thought with regard to virginity and chastity. And therefore they would present before the mind's eye a figure which was not there in reality, but which was easy to produce because precisely the imagination was creating a virtual reality to replace the reality that was no longer there. But there was another too. It was to present before the mind's eye the figure of a person who had done them harm. And this was the other battle, that of thoughts with regard to charity, and specifically unforgiveness, and therefore a desire for revenge, linked also sometimes with envy, the green-eyed monster. This too had the effect of bringing a lack of warmth and love for God into the heart, just as the other had the effect of deflecting love towards something else. There were two, therefore, poles. One was attraction of love, and the other was its extinction, all having the same effect in a different way, reducing the love of God channeled in one only direction, for which the monk was there. And so he was, as we would say, zonked off. A great victory. And the devil knew his power. This applies to us. In this world, if we have many things to do, we may find that all that work is not happening, and that there is a lot of stuff to be caught up on. It is important to be aware that all that comes into our mind with the imagination, now fed with artificialdom, stays there, and we can be homes to demons. Normally, eye to eye with the Lord, especially in the Blessed Sacrament, should help us to encounter also any local demons that might be wanting hospitality. It's important not to cancel also that bit, for if, even in our times of adoration, we are not in our soul, but catching up on vocal prayer, then again, perhaps the demon is wanting a victory. He is subtle and very clever. So we need to be one step ahead.